Bishop, Loki, radio check. Lima Charlie.
Alright, next. Wood.
Radio check 148. Lima Charlie.
Alright, Wood.
Radio check 148. Lima Charlie. Radio check 148. Lima Charlie.
Bishop Nate, radio check.
Lima Charlie. Radio check over. Lima Charlie. Radio check. Charlie Lima.
What channel?
Really?
Striking.
Alright, another feature I want to go over real quick, since most of you probably have 2 radios now, is while you have a radio selected, you should all have 148 selected right now. You can push the Control Shift and then the right or left arrow key, and this will set your radio to that corresponding ear. So like if you push Control Shift right, it put the 148 VHF in your right ear. Now, if you want, you can switch back to your 343. And once you have your 343 selected down there, push Control Shift and whatever the opposite ear is of the one you just selected for your 148. So now when you talk, or you hear somebody come in on your like I'll transmit on channel 2 on the 343, whatever ear you have that one set in, you should hear me. So this is a good way, especially since the way we have our SOPs set up is, if you're a fire team leader and above, usually you only have 2 radios. So you can keep your comms separated. You know who's talking. Like if you have your command net set in your left ear and your platoon, or your fire team net or whatever in your right ear. For me, like with Viper and Joe in this case, whenever they're talking to me, I can have them coming in my right ear, so I know who's talking, where it's coming from, and then Havoc can be coming in through the left ear, and then I'll hear, and I'll know command net is giving me orders or whatever. So that's a useful feature. To center them back up, you just hit Control Shift up, and that'll center your radio back on both ears.
Awesome. That's something I didn't have in my notes. Thank you.
So you can take and change which radio comes in with you?
Another thing. Jesus Christ. Another thing. About the radios is, I get this question a lot, and I'm not sure if everybody knows. In your scroll menu, you'll have a thing called lower headset. Right, what that simulates is the fact that right now, before you lower the headset, you have a headset on your head, and you're wearing it as your troop avatar, or whatever you want to call it in the game. That means you have voices coming in loud through your ears. You have the ear muff phone things on your eardrums. Now, when you lower your headset, it simulates you taking the headset off and draping it around your neck, because say comm chatter is just going on and it has absolutely nothing to do with you. Like you've got command net just blowing your eardrum up, and you're in a firefight and you're trying to hear what people are saying around you, and you don't care what's going on the radio. So you take your radio off and put it around your neck, and it'll actually make the radio really freaking quiet so that you can hear what's going on and when people are talking to you. And then you can raise it back up, and that simulates you putting it back on your head. So everybody got it?
Yeah, actually that's really good to know, because I always thought it just lowered your mic and raised your mic.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead and lower your headset down.
Down.
And once it's down, just give me a okay.
Okay.
Alright, Havoc, just start blowing up channel 5 with something. Did y'all really hear that really loud, or was it really, really faint?
It was faint.
Faint on
Put it
lower.
in.
Yeah,
I
so
changed it during.
yeah, and then you put your headset back up and go ahead and repeat exactly what you said. Hold on, let them get their headsets back on. Alright, you should have it up by now. Go ahead. There you go. Now you should have all heard it loud again.
Yeah.
Roger.
Alright, so there
In
you
my
go.
right ear.
That's exactly what it... That's... Another thing is just so you know, when you are talking on the radio, you're still transmitting locally. So, like, if you hear Gurky calling out on the radio, you need to be kind of aware what he's saying. So if you hear him say, like, Viking 1-1 actual, this is Viking 1-6, he's probably talking on the radio and not talking to you, so you can go to ignoring him again. But you do transmit locally still. You can hear people talking on their radios, you just don't hear it over the radio if they're not talking to you. Kind of. Or they're not talking on your net, I should say.
Just hearing.
Yeah, you just hear it like I'm talking right now.
Right.
So, like, if I switch my radio to channel 6... See, I'm on channel 6 now, and if you're all on channel 5, when I start broadcasting, you'll probably hear me like I'm talking normally, or you should. Viking 5, this is Viking 1-1 actual, radio check over. See, so all of you probably just heard me talking like normal, correct?
Correct.
That's how you, generally when you're working with your fire team and you're setting your radios up or something like that, and you start doing radio checks, that's how you know when somebody's on the wrong channel, because they're trying to do a radio check, they're standing right next to you, talking to you, and you don't hear them on the radio. So. Alright, now that we've covered that, we'll cover the 119. We're not going to do a signal test for the 148, because it should, especially with this flat ground, you would probably be able to go all the way to that hill over there and hear them. Alright. Now, this one's, of course, for extreme long range. The VHF was kind of like the 148, my bad, was more of like a medium range type radio. Probably use it between, it's good for communications between, say, squad leader and fire team leaders, because they can actually be spread out a pretty good distance. This radio would be probably for like a squad leader who is talking to command that is very far away. So yeah, that was good job. And the last radio is, I believe, the more advanced version. It's a better version of this radio. It's the 117F. Everybody's gonna need to go grab one of those. Alright, go ahead and control shift A till you get it selected.
Nice, it's the Ferris Bueller 3. Or 2, it's the Bueller 2.
Alright, here we go. So everybody's, I guess, brought up the GUI already for it. This one, it works more like the 148 on setting everything up. If you look at the little orange screen, it says 001, that's your channel. Then it tells you the frequency next to it. And then the volume is above that. To change the volume, you see there's a volume button, you just hit up and down on it. The button on the right side that says PRE, that's your presets, your channel presets. It should go to 100 if you click down. So just like the 148. Let's go ahead and set it to channel 85.
Say again.
85, channel 85.
Roger.
Now to set the power on this one, let me know. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of minutes, or I mean like a few seconds to get it all on 85 and everything.
Nope.
We're good.
Alright. Once you have it on the selected channel, the power for each channel is actually separate. I forgot to mention that with the 148, which I believe also does the same thing. Where when you set a power for a channel, it's actually only for that channel. Alright, so we're on channel 85. To set the power, this will demonstrate that. We'll hit, the 8 key has PGM for program. You're going to hit that, and then you're going to hit enter, since it's on 85 already. And you should get a selection menu that is frequency, CS, data, SQL, power, name, blah blah blah. Correct.
I didn't catch that, the first part. How did I get there, though?
Hit program,
Okay.
the 8 key. It says PGM.
Gotcha. Got it.
Alright, and then you hit enter on the first screen that pops up, it should show your frequency and the channel you're on. And then you should come to a menu that says frequency, CS, data, SQL, power, and name. You hit the left and right arrow in the top right until you get to power and it's blinking, and then hit enter. And then you come to a screen just like the 148, current power 5000, new power. You can hit the down for the presets, I believe. No, excuse me, it's left and right arrow again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just hit the down arrow and you go back a few times and you'll see that the max power for this radio is 20,000. This thing's a beast. This is the best radio for communicating long range. Then you make sure you hit the enter key, the ENT button, not the key on your keyboard, but the ENT button. And now you're set at 20,000 power on channel 85.
Wow. That's neat. Cool.
All right.
Somebody did this.
So let's go ahead and get Loki. Go ahead. On the one
Bishop Logio, radio check. Lima Charlie.
Nate.
Bishop Nate, radio check.
Lima Charlie.
Woodrad 117, radio check.
Lima Charlie.
Bishop Joe 117, channel 85, radio check.
Lima Charlie. Radio check over. Lima Charlie.
Radio check 117, Foxtrot.
Lima Charlie.
Radio check 117.
Hiding.
Lima Charlie. Radio check. Lima Charlie. Lima Charlie.
All right,
These
so
are a
that's
lot better clarity.
yeah. These are awesome. This is generally command, and the new feature that everybody implemented that we'll go over for vehicles is almost every single vehicle in the game now. Every air vehicle, Armor, has a radio pre-mounted, and it's almost, I'm pretty sure every single one of them is a 117 Foxtrot. The only thing that is excluded from that is the car-like vehicles, like UAZs or Humvees. They have a rack mount where you can actually rack mount a 148 VHF. It's the only radio that lets you rack mount, I believe. So generally before an op, when we do this and we need to rack mount radios, we'll grab an extra 148 VHF and load it into the Humvees and go ahead and rack mount it up. But things like the Apaches, Little Birds, you know, tanks, M1 Abrams, all those have 117s pre-built. Can I get just, it works the same also in air vehicles as it does in ground vehicles. So can I get somebody to go grab that Bradley over there and bring it over here?
Yep.
Alright. Since Reaper, or who's in this thing? Alright, everybody kinda stand in front of the Bradley. Or is this a linebacker? Whatever. Okay, so first we'll have... Yeah, Reaper, why don't you go ahead and go first? Go ahead and climb in the driver's seat. Typically we would just have the commander on the radio. I believe only one person can be on the radio at a time in the vehicle. Go ahead and hit Alt-Shift-Q. And it should bring up like an ACE interaction thing.
It's a VRC 3.
Yeah, just click that. You're gonna get use radio. It's gonna be a 117F.
Okay. Yep.
Alright, now, what? Yeah, go ahead and hop in the gun.
Left on the hill.
Right side.
Switch to ATI.
20.
Well done. Alright, back to the driver's seat.
Alright, back to what we were doing. Alright, so redo that Alt Shift Q, re-access the radio. Once you hit use radio in the... Once you hit use radio inside the,
Yeah, real quick, Alt Shift X instantly turns you back in.
Yeah, that's Alt Shift Q. So once you hit use radio though, it automatically selects that radio. Like it automatically starts you
Yeah.
using that radio. So you hit Control Shift X, just like you have a normal personnel radio, and it should bring up the 117F for the vehicle.
Nope, it's on channel 1.
Yep, go ahead and put it on channel 90, and set the power to 20,000.
Radio check. We got some heroes, and I'm damn proud of them. Lima Charlie, you copy me? Yeah, copy.
Alright, now go ahead and hop out. Alright, Bloodhound. Turn out once you're in the driver's seat. Alright, go ahead. Kill the motor. And go ahead and double tap Alt so you're always looking around. Yeah, there we go. Alright, go ahead and hit Alt Shift Q. You'll bring up a thing, click through it until you get the option to use radio, and click use radio. 9 communicating with his 117, and I would also have a 148 to communicate with the fire team leaders. It's more like squad net, so I would be talking to, like I said, in this case it would be Joe Dirt and Viper McGee.
Okay.
So, and then Viper McGee as a team leader would have a 148 to communicate with me, but then he's also going to have a 343 to communicate with his team. So his team members are only going to have 343s. That's it, because that's all.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was just the issue of having more than 2, or I just say like one of the leads, just like you said, you could set them, and I'm pretty sure you can. I remember when we were playing that one time. I think we had all 3 radios, and all we did was set the 343 for one ear, the 148 for one ear, and then we had the 119 or 117 for both ears, so we knew what everything was on.
Right, but once you start having to juggle that many radios, it starts getting annoying.
Yeah,
Because we
I
don't
understand
run.
what you're saying.
If we don't run RTOs. Like Havoc doesn't have an RTO. Gurky doesn't have an RTO to run around carrying like 5 radios so that they can, an RTO's job, he would carry 1 radio, but he would be constantly worried about like switching channels and telling this person this and then switching channels back to another channel to talk to this person, and that's his whole job. And we don't have RTOs, so we don't worry about that.
Okay.
All right, does everybody understand how how we do our call sign system? Like it's actually preset. There is no. I know there's a lot of jokes that go around about coming up with call signs and all this stuff, but we actually have it preset call signs, and especially for our infantry, we actually follow pretty much what the Army really does with how they number people and stuff like that. Like 1-6 is gonna be your first platoon leader. That's automatic. If you hear 1-6, that's first platoon leader. 2-6 is going to be second platoon leader, I believe. So on. Then you hear like 1-5. I'm pretty sure that's. I don't even know if that's real. Okay. We have 1-7, which is your platoon sergeant. It's a 2-7 platoon sergeant. So on. Everybody know this? No?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you hear 1-6 over the radio, that's Gurky. Automatically. That's platoon leader. Gurky. When you hear Viking 5, that's Havoc, right? Yeah. 6.
You said 1-5?
No, just 5. He's command. He's out of a platoon. 1-5, or 1-6 and 1-7 and all that designates a platoon, and then their position. In the case where I just say Viking 5, that means that's the command of the whole company. So Havoc is Viking 5, Loki is Viking 6. That means he's CO. Loki being CO is 6, XO is 5. Always. This is how the real army does it, I believe. Where your XO is going to be 5, your CO is going to be 6. And I believe 7 is going to be your first sergeant, company first sergeant. So when it comes down to me, 1-1, does everybody understand like 1-1 actual, what that means? That means it means, okay, 1-1 actual stands for, you know, first platoon, first squad, and then the actual just says that you're actually talking to the squad leader. Like, say for some reason I'm wounded and I can't talk on my radio, so Viper runs up and he grabs my radio and he gets on my net and he's responding to the people. He would say this is Viking 1-1, but he would leave off the actual because he is not the squad leader. He is acting squad leader because squad leader is wounded. That's actually what the actual stands for. That means you are talking to the real deal. You're talking to the squad leader.
Okay, so the 1-1 actual
is me.
Okay, it's the main guy.
So, like, just to throw a question out there, if we had a second squad in first platoon, what would first platoon, second squad leader be called?
Viking 1-2 actual.
Squad leader?
There you go. 1-2 actual. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, he just said 1-2 actual. If we have 1-3 actual, then that's obviously first platoon, third squad. But I don't even think we run. I'm not sure how many squads are in an army platoon. And then it breaks down from that, of course, into 1-1 Alpha, 1-1 Bravo, the 2 fire teams for first platoon, first squad, Alpha team, first platoon, first squad, Bravo team. The fire team leader is the one that always responds because he's the ranking member of the fire team usually. But that technically isn't his designation. He isn't 1-1 Bravo. 1-1 Bravo is all 4 of the guys, and 1-1 Alpha is all 4 of the other guys. Does that make sense? It's just that the team, it goes in order, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your first in command is going to be your fire team leader, and then if he gets shot, then the second command is going to take over. He's still 1-1 Bravo, or he's still 1-1 Alpha, so on and so on.
Okay, so say for instance it's 1, 1, 2. So the 1 would mean the platoon, and then the 2 would mean the squad.
Yeah.
And then the okay, and then the 1 would be command, and then the 2 would be what now?
What do you mean? The 1 would be command, and the 2 would be what?
When you said it was when you're talking to the main guy, like 1-1 actual, first platoon, it'd be the leader, the main guy.
Yeah, 1-1 actual. Yeah, that just means you're talking to the squad leader of that squad. Actual just means squad leader. That's what they're called. When you say over, okay, I'm gonna run through the rules real quick and try to do it since Gurky's not here. He's better at this. But the person initiating the conversation generally ends the conversation. So if you start the conversation, you're usually going to be the one that outs the conversation. Out meaning you stop it. You don't expect the response. So if I call over the radio and I talk to somebody like Viper, I'm going to say, Viking 1-1 Bravo, this is Viking 1-1 actual, sit rep, over. Say something, Viper.
1-1 actual, this is 1-1 Bravo. Not doing anything, over.
1-1 Bravo, this is 1-1 actual. That's a solid copy, out. Alright. Now that meant that I understood, and in conversation, I don't want him to say anything back to me. Don't talk. Yeah, solid copy. But there's a difference. You never say over and out because that's redundant. When you're saying, I want you to respond to me, but don't respond to me. I want you to respond and don't respond. So you never say both. Also, just remember the kind of the precedent that if you start the conversation, you're supposed to end the conversation also. Even if you come over to video just to say, hey, 1-1 Bravo is 1-1 actual, out. That means, okay, I'm done. Yeah, on another note about that, Havoc, when you know there's a lot of radio traffic going on, before you just start sending stuff over the radio, it's a good idea to check if the person's ready to receive traffic or not. Like, say I want to get in touch with Viper, or Gurky wants to get in touch with me, whatever. They might say something like, 1-1 Bravo, this is 1-1 actual, over. That's it. And then that lets him know I got something to tell him, so he would come back and say, like, 1-1 actual, this is 1-1 Bravo, send traffic, or go ahead, or any of those, over. And then that means he's ready for me to talk to him. In case of a firefight or something like that, you might come up over the radio and start just talking in their ear, giving them orders and stuff like that when they're sitting there getting shot at and they're not even listening to you anymore.
See, the other benefit is if you say over, then I know I'm outside of the conversation, not to interrupt until you've completed your transmission.
Yeah. Other people hear over, they know not to jump in and be like, that's a good point, Joe.
Okay, hopefully my notes are right here. So I have like example 1-1, this is 2-1, sit rep over, 2-1, this is 1-1, nothing, over. And then 1-1 solid copy, out.
Sounds pretty good. That would be... Hold one. That sounds like, in the case you just listed there where you said 1-1, this is 2-1, that's acting squad leader from 1-1 is talking to acting squad leader from 2-1. So, second platoon, first squad leader is talking to first platoon, first squad leader, acting both. See how the number system works? Platoon, squad.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, once you use it.
He's just talking to the second squad leader.
Yeah, he's talking to a different platoon, different squad leader, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, most of it's pretty clear, just a lot of hazy. Just when I get back in the game after 7 months, you kind of forget all this kind of stuff. But yeah, most of it's coming back to me. I'm looking through all the notes and everything. I should be able to get it after a couple rounds of training with you guys.
Well, the Marines do 4-man teams, they just do 3 instead of 2. And then they have a squad leader, just like this. We actually, I don't know if anybody knows this or if anybody's interested or not, the way we actually do our loadouts is actually more Marine than Army. I don't know about that. Gurky, well, no, because Gurky said that they did it this way too over there, so it might be something new in the Army, but anything you read from the standard military is that Marines actually run their fire team leaders as a grenadier. Then they have a rifleman, and then they have an AR guy, and then they have an assistant automatic rifleman. Whereas the Army actually runs the fire team leaders just like a rifleman, and then they actually have a separate slot called grenadier, which they actually run a grenadier, and then they have an AR, and then they have a an automatic assistant auto rifleman. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, but that's just a neat little fact. But Gurky, I think, said that they were transitioning when he was in, and said that they actually had their fire team leaders with 203s on them too. All right, well we should practice, and we should probably just go over I would say evacs are our most important things.
1-1 Alpha, this is Yogstat 5. Copy on evac, grade 088051. 8 packs, LZ status code, smoke on visual, ETA 5 mics, over.
So good. Like a boss.
I'll tuck that away, thanks.